Today, we're gonna go pick up our new piece of equipment, which means we gotta get this trailer hooked up to the pickup truck. That way we can drive down to Columbus, Nebraska to get what we bought. Before I can get hooked up to that trailer, I need to get a couple things out of the way here in the shop to make some room to back in with the pickup truck. So we'll start backing some equipment out of the way. For those keeping track at home, now I'm gonna be pushing this tractor by hand for the third time already because the PTO is broke and getting fixed in town. And that's in the way for me to get the trailer out. So we got a hand pusher again. I'll be honest, I'm ready to get this tractor fixed, put in the other shed, and not have to see it again for a couple months. Now I got enough room to get the truck back here to hook up to the trailer, but I was thinking since I'm the only one at the farm today, it's probably smarter so I don't back into the wall to just grab the trailer by hand, run it outside, and hook everything up out there. So that's what we're gonna do. The trailer's hooked up and now we should be ready to go, but I want to check inside the truck to make sure that we have enough tie down straps that when we get there, we're able to tie everything down to the trailer. And it looks like we have plenty of straps in the back, so the next stop is Columbus, Nebraska. I made it 5 miles down the road and I'm realizing that I forgot sunglasses, but I also stopped because I want to show you guys something else. Today is January 30th and right now I'm walking out into one of our fields and it's supposed to be 45 degrees today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week. And if you look out, you can see that there is very little to almost no snow across the entirety of the field, which is super uncommon for us because last year we had about 2 feet of snowpack on this field, but they've been saying all winter long that most of the snow has been going further south. And since today we're driving down to Nebraska, I thought just to put in perspective of how little moisture we have here, we'll see how much snow they have down there when we get there. 3.5 hours later and we made it to Columbus, Nebraska. Now we'll head on inside, write out a check for what we purchased, and load it up on the trailer. And here's what I came to Nebraska to get. A Polaris Ranger XP 2024 North Star Edition. Has cab, heating, cooling inside there. Our nice cargo box where we'll throw all the rocks when we get this thing back home and put it to use. Let's jump inside the cab to see some of the other cool features inside the new Polaris Ranger. Here's the view from the driver's seat. We have our radio, 4-wheel drive, performance mode, our windshield wipers. Whoops, kick that on. We have our turn signals, and this one controls the cargo box in the back hydraulically, so when we gotta empty out the rocks, that'll be a nice feature to have. Stepping back out of the cab, another feature of this Ranger that our current one doesn't have is this one has a winch. So whether we get stuck with the Ranger itself or the Ranger needs to do a little bit of pulling, it'll be nice to see how much we use the winch. And our other one is a white. This one is kind of a nice dark blue and black color that I think I like more than the white one. I didn't know if I would like the color at first, but now that I can see it here in person, I do like this dark color and it has a little bit of shine to it. What do you guys think? You like the color? I do. Another accessory we added to this Ranger is an electrical hookup, so when we have our sprayer back here, or if we need any other 12-volt power, there's already a hookup in here and the power is controlled from inside the cab. So eventually I might be able to hook this up to my GPS globe when I'm running inside the fields. But that's another nice feature that we're gonna have in this Ranger. Show you guys the tailgate. There's everything in the box. It's also got a hitch. So if we ever need to do a little bit of pulling around with the small trailer, we can stick a receiver in there to do some pulling around out on the farm. I got her all strapped down and ready to go, bring her back to the farm. As excited as I am to get this new Ranger, it still doesn't make me excited to go and bring it home and use it for picking rocks. But since we're still in January, I still got a couple months before we need to use this thing on the farm wise, so we're gonna have plenty of time to break it in with having a little bit of fun. It's time to bring the Ranger home. And I actually asked you guys in the previous video what you thought I was picking up in Nebraska, and one person guessed it right. Some people had some other funny guesses, like a large oil pan for the mess we made at the 560. Now it's time to drag this thing back home, hopefully before the sun gets down. Been on the road now for 2 hours, right on the Iowa-Nebraska border. Wanted to get out, stretch my legs, but also to make sure the Ranger was still secured down since we've been on the road now for a good amount of time. So let's check over everything on the trailer with the Ranger. Everything's strapped down good, but I'm noticing upon farther inspection that this cover over the tire, this bolt slipped out and some of the welds are broke. So as you can see, it's just hanging on, actually, yeah, it's completely off, only hanging by the little bit of cord, electrical cord that holds the wire on. So we're gonna see if we can slip that back into that bolt on both the front and the back. Should just have to slide that little bolt in there, tighten them down. We should be back on our way in a jiffy. Now that the fender on this side's all tightened back up, it's only good practice to double check the tightness of the one on the other side here. And that looks to be holding on there tightly. It's a good thing I got out to check the gator, because I don't think that small tiny wire that runs the light on the fender would have carried the fender all the way home. Probably would have lost it somewhere along the way. So it's a good thing we got out, but being a farmer, you're just prepared for stuff to go wrong. So that's kind of honestly the reason I got out to check it, because usually you expect something to go wrong, and once again, something went wrong, but we were able to fix it. Before we take the last 100-mile jaunt home, look at the landscape here in Nebraska. Compared to our field where we started the morning, which is completely flat, this one is a lot rollier with some hills, and almost exactly like I expected, they have quite a bit more snow down here. Good news, after about 8 hours of driving, we finally got the Ranger home. Opening up the overhead door right now. We'll get that thing pulled in shop yet tonight. Here's the first look at the Ranger inside the shop. I don't know, I kind of like the color of this one more than the white one we got over there. I think this just looks a little sleeker, darker. I know one thing, we got to get the windows tinted in here, because when we're picking rock and this windshield up here, when the sun's beating in, it really makes it hot in here. So one thing we're gonna have to get done is get a little bit of tint in this window, some here, as well as some in the doors for the windows. I'm curious what you guys think of the color though on this Ranger in comparison to the white one that we have. But I did over 8 hours of driving today, so that's gonna be it for today's video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.